Hi, I'm Jorn de Vos. I'm a second-year ND candidate at Wageningen University in research, and I am working on climate adaptation and drought resilience in cities like Amsterdam. As you might know, the Netherlands is known as a water country, or in Dutch, kikkerlandje. But many years we have seen from flooding events and high water levels in general that the Netherlands adapted their cities in terms of water resilience. Cities like Amsterdam have had many experiences in flooding, extreme rain events that made our cities focus on water discharge. However, in recent years, we've seen that droughts like 2018 have made our country underestimate the impacts of extreme heat and extreme drought. For this, we are looking for a way to move away from this water discharge and go from flood prevention to water retention. In that sense, we try to create a more sustainable closed water loop in many different sectors.
Globally, around 20% of freshwater abstraction is used for industrial purposes. Some use it for manufacturing, others generate energy. But they all have one thing in common. Without water, their businesses would not be able to run. If we zoom in to the port of Amsterdam, the second biggest industrial area in the Netherlands, we see that the demand for fresh water is rising. At the same time, the demand for drinking water in residential areas is also increasing. Not an issue, you might think, as industries don't use the same water source as drinking water, right? Well, that's the problem. This is the WKR, the water extraction point for the Amsterdam region. At this extraction point, water is being extracted for both drinking and industrial use, and then transported to the city. With the pressure on fresh water increasing due to climate change, we need to think about a solution. So, let's take a closer look at what happens to all the water after it has served its purpose in companies. In many cases, the water gets collected, cleaned by a treatment plant located on the company's property. After the treatment, the water is fully suitable to be dumped back into the surface water. Yes, that's right. Tons of relatively clean water get discharged back into surface water or to the regional treatment plant, where it gets mixed with other waste streams. What if, instead of wasting this clean wastewater, we discharge less and reuse more? The concept of reusing this waste stream is known as industrial symbiosis. Unfortunately, developing a system like this does come with its challenges.
I'm Wouter de Buck. I work at Leaf in Wageningen. And I've been working on industrial symbiosis for quite some years.
I'm John Jetio. I'm a researcher from KWR Water Research Institute in Utrecht.
The main challenges are not technologically. They're mainly related to organization, finance, and law and legislation.
Building infrastructure always requires a high capital cost, which at the moment is a challenge for such initiative. The water generated from individual company is very production dependent. Every company might have their peak factor from a certain hours to a certain hours where the water is produced the most.
If you have one company who has water available and the other company wants to use that water, then you're exchanging waste. So you need to take off this waste factor, which is possible but difficult, takes a lot of time.
And furthermore, from our experience, it is difficult to build trust between companies to establish such a relationship of water sharing schemes. If one of the company goes bankrupt or there's a system failure and the company stops running for a day, what would be the impact of not having that portion of water?
Yeah, that makes it a challenge, all these things.
It almost seems like an impossible dream scenario, this reuse of water between companies, after hearing all these different challenges. Luckily, there is hope. In several places around the world, industrial symbiosis has already been developed, and even more importantly, the results are promising. One of these examples is Kalundborg Symbiosis, located in Denmark.
My name is Mette Wenfel and I work as the Senior Project Manager here in the Kalundborg Symbiosis.
This is an industrial network where companies share resources like water. This reduces waste cuts costs, and promotes sustainability by turning one company's waste into another's resource. Here is Mette to tell you more about the driving factors behind this development.
This is a way to secure more responsible production. We experience a lot of companies who would like to come here and locate and connect to the symbiosis streams and connections. I have heard the people in the water group say that formerly we had this perspective that this was your problem or your problem, but today they say it's our problem, and we look into together how can we solve it. And it's the nature of wicked problems. You cannot solve them alone.
Not only in Denmark, but also in Amsterdam, do companies see the urgency to orient themselves towards solutions. Looking into alternative water sources like rainwater is one of these solutions. Take, for example, Voorbij Prefab. This is a concrete factory in the port of Amsterdam that makes concrete piles, transformer stations, and wall elements for houses. Nearly all water used in the process is rainwater. Here's Ruud to tell you more about the role of water within his production.
Water is very essential for us because concrete is made with water. We catch the water from the roofs of our factory halls, and all that water is collected in a big tank, and that we use for our production of the concrete. That loop is almost fully closed. If we have too short of water, maybe in periods of long times without rain, then we use a little bit of industry water. So not clean water, but industry water. But that is just a little part of the use on yearly basis. Hopefully we can be an example for other companies that you can use the free rainwater for your production. Every solution is the best instead of using clean water. Yeah.
The promising results of Kalundborg and the increasing awareness of companies like Voorbij Prefab show that there's potential for this water symbiosis to work. The big question that remains: how would such a system look in the port of Amsterdam? To find out, we started pitching our idea to researchers and experts in the field. The initial reactions were positive, and people were intrigued by our concept. But just excitement isn't enough to make a change. So we organized a co-creation event. Here we invited these experts together with companies from the port of Amsterdam to explore the main challenges and opportunities. The turnout was exceeded, the results super insightful, and perhaps most importantly, both the companies and the experts were optimistic about the opportunity to reuse industrial wastewater. So, to answer the title of this documentary, we, and with us many stakeholders, have discovered that reusing industrial wastewater is a valid stream as an alternative. We identified several potential suppliers and potential demanders for this industrial wastewater stream. When the quality and quantity match with a nearby company, we encourage direct exchange without a facilitating organization in between, here shown as a decentralized system. However, overall we can conclude that this industrial symbiosis system should be centralized. Here, a central organization would collect all wastewater, treat it, and distribute it back to the companies. This way, continuality and quality standards are assured. Additionally, we advise every company to investigate the possibilities of rainwater collection on their properties. But if there's one main takeaway from this documentary, it is that this conversation should be continued.
Technologies make it possible, but people make it happen.